The loudness chart is very useful if you want to watch loudness over time. That's whether you are in broadcast transmission or if you are at another place where you want to basically have the loudness landscape during the entire period of your audio session. I'm going to show you now how to set it up and also tweak it a little bit for your needs, perhaps. Let's go into the web app here. I create a new preset that's called chart. It's in metering. It's a stereo in this case. I choose PPM. I choose EBU R128. And I've now created my preset with the name chart. First, I want to set up routing. It's really easy. I route from Dante channels 1 and 2 to left and right. That's it. And now I click metering here and I go into my view. In the view here, I just want the loudness chart just for this demonstration. So I'll just make it really, really big. I can actually go out here. And instead of always on for the sidebar, I can say swipe. And if I do that, I have a little more space here because then the sidebar is not shown on the device UI. That's basically the loudness chart. I have it now, but let's go through some of the settings. I press edit here, make sure it's selected, and I press edit. The first thing is the chart parameter. So that's what the chart shows. In this case, I'm showing short-term loudness. Beneath the chart, there are some bars. We call them the timeline bars. You can have up to 4. You can have none if you don't want it. In this case, I want to show momentary, perhaps integrated, and true peak. So now I have 3. The time range parameter is basically the window you are showing. So the time, I can set it to 10 seconds all the way up to 2 hours. And I can also set it to auto, and auto simply makes the chart zoom to whatever length you have. So auto expands the zoom area if the length of the audio gets longer than what it's set at. This is the true peak scale. The true peak scale is only relevant if I have selected true peak here on the chart. But in case I have it, I can pick between 2 different scales, the 20 and the 60 dB. Yeah, that's basically it. There's also true peak operation range. It also applies to if I've selected true peak, so I skip that for now. I can go into colors here and I can set the colors for each of the parameters here. So I can have different colors for momentary, different for short-term, integrated, and true peak. You just go for the default colors for now. So now I basically have set it up. One thing I'd like to do, I'd like to have some control over my chart on the device while I'm operating it. I'd like to be able to reset loudness measurements. If I click here, I get some more keys here, buttons. There's the chart parameter. That was the one we set to short-term before. By adding the knob to the UI, I can actually toggle between the different loudness parameters while I'm working with it, and without destroying the history of the measurement. Time range, the same thing. I can put it here. It's set to 10 seconds in auto mode. Probably also want to be able to start and stop the loudness meter. So that's basically it. I've set it up now. There's one more thing. Up here, you see the small green area. That's what we call the tolerance. The tolerance area is basically an area plus minus to the loudness target value. here's the tricky thing. It's not so tricky. You just need to know how to do it. Within our instruments, some parameters are related to the preset as such. Some parameters are related to the application, and some parameters are related to the actual instruments. So the parameters I showed you before is related to the instrument, to the chart. That's where you set the colors, for instance. There's also parameters that goes for the application as such. And it makes sense if you have more loudness tools on your screen at the same time. Say you have the loudness chart and you also have a loudness bar graph. There are some settings that are the same for both of them. And settings that are the same across an application, you find those here by selecting the application and then go for edit here. Now I'm editing not the chart instrument, but the application, the metering application settings here. And in here, I have loudness. This is where I select my loudness type, and my scale, and my target level, and stuff like that. It's also where I set the tolerances. And you remember that was the green area you saw on the chart. Since I'm showing short term on the chart now, let's just make, just for demonstration purposes, let's make this really a big one. So you can see now plus minus 4 here. If I then go to view here, you can see it's much bigger now. It's plus minus 4. So that's the tolerance area. If I switch to momentary, I would get another tolerance area. As you could remember, we have another tolerance here. Now, short-term tolerance, I mean, plus minus 4 is perhaps a little over the edge. So let's put it back to where the default settings are, like that. And now you can see on the view again, it's smaller. It's plus minus 1. And that's all good. And I go back, and I go back, and I say save, and save. Right, that now it's saved. I called it the chart. And now I can recall it on my device. Like that. And here's a screenshot of the device. You can see that the bars are the M and the S. The S is the M and the I and the true peak, and you can see that S is in the chart. So loudness chart, very useful for, as I said, creating an overview of your loudness over a period of time.